Hey guys and gals, Froggy here. This is the driver's side seat out of my C5 Z06, and I'm going to do a little repair on it. I've already worked on it a little bit, but I'm going to do a little more. See, these wires here are broken, just worn out. It's got about 65,000 miles on it, and I just guess sitting on them breaks them after a while. I don't weigh like 300 pounds or anything, so yours might be like that also. The white thing is a cover off of a notebook that I put in there a couple of years ago, just because I wanted to try and distribute the pressure of sitting on the seat, and it seems to have worked okay, I think. I don't know if that's what caused those springs to break. I kind of don't think so. I mean, the springs have, those springs, the other end of where these wires are attached is spring loaded onto this cross wire, which is a heavier gauge cross wire. See, there's a spring there, a spring there. One there, so 1, 2 underneath my finger, 3, 4 springs there, and there's nothing on the other end. So they are spring loaded, if you want to call it that way. But anyway, I picked up some new springs because I didn't want to have to run these whole wires again, because it's a special gauge of wire. I don't know, it's a pretty stiff, pretty strong wire. Maybe it's piano wire, I don't know. But what I'm going to do is just use those springs to repair the other end, and then I don't think anything should ever break again, because it's just got enough spring protection, if you want to call it that, on there. So I'm going to take this cover back and see if I can get at it. Well, these plastic zip ties are things that I put on there. That's not factory original. I just added those in there to neaten stuff up and keep it out of the way. So I'm going to clip those off. I'm going to show you these other little areas as I take it apart. I think they call these hog rings. Those will have to be put back, either replaced with zip ties, or if you can bend those hog rings back on there, they can do that. I'm not sure what I'll do yet. Okay, once you get those 4 hog rings off, flip it over, and then easily just pull out that foam piece. That foam looks pretty good to me. It's not all destroyed or anything, so I'm going to reuse that. You can buy those replacement foam pieces if your car has like 200,000 miles on it or something. It probably needs new foam. And you can see how nice the seat leather looks on this one. It's got 65,000 miles on it. That's all nice. I would condition it and put some leather cleaner, preservative, and so on. No particular brand. Do that, because the leather will get hard. You know, this part is leather. This is not leather here or here, but it'll get hard if you don't soften it with something. I'm going to give you some extra shots here of how this all comes apart and goes together. So there's the springs I was telling you about, and this is an extra heavy-duty wire that goes across there. And this seat control module, I believe that's what it is, it just clips on there. You can see it's come down because that one wire, that one actually just slipped off the end, I guess. It's not broken. So I've got 2 broken ones and one that just slipped off the end, and I'll figure something out so that it stays where it's supposed to be on this end. Froggy will put his thinking cap on. So here's a little more detail. These springs, I want to tell you, they're very, very stiff. They're much stiffer than what I've got that's going to go on the other end. But this is kind of the fun part, where I've got it all apart in front of me on my bench, and I can look at it and think about, well, let's be honest, let's think about things that you can improve on GM, because, you know, they have to meet a price point and lowest bidder, vendors and stuff like that. So like all these little extra routing zip ties that I put in there, they're never going to bother with that. So here's where I just look at it, step back and think about it a little bit and how I'm going to fix it. Actually, wow, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 broken ones, and then the 2 end ones that slipped off. Ooh. Well, I've got 4 springs, so we'll make that work. Okay, there's one. Froggy's breathing a little heavy. I took my vice grip, come on, focus, and pulled it and pushed it and got it over the end of this. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to bend this or not, but I'm going to put something on the end of this so it doesn't happen again. Or maybe I'll just tie this one to the next one that way. You know what I mean? That direction, so there's a little tension that way. Well, I was able to put a little bend on it. Come on, focus. With my vice grips, so that'll never come off. See? So, yeah, here again, GM's never gonna bother to have somebody laboring or even make a machine that'll put that bend in. So this is an improvement. So what I think I'll do is I'll flip the seat around on my bench. I'll do the other side the same way, and then I'll get the 4 in the middle that are broken. Okay, so flipped it around. Here we go. Here's our other wire that's still intact, and here's our other heavy-duty wire that I'm going to get it over and then bend the end. Obviously, I'm going to put a little bit of a 30-degree bend on this other end too, so that doesn't come loose. Well, whew. What I did was I grabbed the very end of, well, let me back up. I undid this loop temporarily because the hole was too small to get over the end of this. So I undid that. I grabbed the end of this with one vice grip, like so. Then I pushed and pulled. I used one hand on that end and one on this end, and I got it over there, and then I was holding it over here, and I took my other hand and used it on my other vice grip there and put a bend in it before I let go, because otherwise it's just going to pop back off. And there you go, that worked. So we got both ends on there. Now we're just going to work with these 4 loose ones, and I'll fabricate something to use those springs that I showed you. I'm going to take this module that's clipped onto these wires, and I'm going to mount it a little further back like that to get it away from the springs that I'm going to install. Originally it was up clipped onto here, but I don't see there was any reason why it has to be. So a little more thought on this. So this module does move with the seat, and the wires are attached down to the track, which does not move. So there's slack in the wires that's probably been measured so that it can go to extreme forward and extreme back. Still, I don't think a couple inches is going to make much difference, so I won't go like way back. Although, see, then when I go forward, it might not leave me enough slack in the wires, so I'll go back a couple inches. Now let's just put it right about there for now and get my new springs going. What I'm going to try to do is put some tension on this so that it equals out to this one, which has the really heavy spring on it. You know what I mean? Just like this. This is tighter, this is looser, so I'll go a little bit more. Yeah, I'm probably going to have that stretched out quite a ways. I think I'm going to go about like that. It's Still not as tight as this one, but yeah, it just seems about right. Here's what I figured. So I've got those two up there. I've got almost equitension, and then the excess of this wire, I ran it over this spacer, and I'm going to wrap it around here just the way those are wrapped around there to secure it. So there's that, and yeah, see the little bend I did? So it's pointed where the sharp end is not going to be onto anything. Now let's get 2 short springs on there and I'm done with this part. Here's a warning, don't bend this wire very much because I just broke that one there. So it's not really meant to be bent a lot. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm switching that longer wire over here because I got a longer spring to the shorter wire. There, see what I mean? This is the short spring to the longer wire. Worst case, if you end up breaking a few of these springs, you just have to go out and get, I keep saying springs, I mean wires. If you break these wires, you'll just have to go out and buy some wire. I don't know what kind to tell you. I don't know. You'll have to research that. So that's about it. I'm gonna leave this. I've got it tied here and here, so it can't go that way, and it'll actually slide a little bit as it needs to. I don't think that'll hurt anything. It's not going to really wear out or anything, I don't think, in my opinion. And we've got all the wires attached. So I'm going to take a lunch break, and then I'll come back and we'll put it together. I won't show you as much putting it back together, but if there are any little tricky bits, I will. So those hog rings are pretty hard to get back on without having the proper tools, special kind of pliers I guess you use. So I'm just using zip ties in the place of them. That'll be fine. What I did basically was use the same holes that the hog rings went through, and you know, use find the hole, poke the end through and grab it with needle nose pliers and pull it through. So when you're putting the cushion back on, shove the front end of it way deep. You know, it wraps around here. So you got to shove that way in, and then the rest of it just kind of lays on top. Start your final fastening from the back first. Those 4, 2 there, 2 there. Then this flap comes over here. Don't tighten it up yet, but just cinch it a little bit so it keeps it in position. Then you're going to go back to the front and make sure it's tucked in really good, because the foam has all kinds of little cutouts for each of the hard parts to sit in. See that string that I just showed you, that runs all the way around. So you're going to tighten that up. It's loose now because I didn't tighten it yet. You're going to make sure that this tucks all around nice. See, and then you're going to cinch it up real tight. So give it a good tight final pull. I kind of slid it so that it would be centered in the back here. It'll slide all the way around. Kind of like a drawstring on the bottom of a jacket you might have. Just cinch it up tight, and then I just put a bunch of half hitches in there. You can look that up. You want to figure out how to do that, just to neaten it up so you didn't have a long piece laying there. And I didn't want to cut it, just because. So one final look over to see if there's any mistakes or any loose pieces that I wouldn't want hanging loose. It looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with this, actually. Pretty satisfied with how it came out. And I think when I sit on the seat now, it'll feel better. Give me a thumbs up or a like if this helps you out. Subscribe to my channel if you want more from Froggy. And take care, be safe, have fun. See ya. Froggy out. Bye. Well, here is one last bit that caused me some heartburn. Is this connection right here, which I forgot to connect to the control out here. So I couldn't figure out why the seat wasn't working. It just, you know, I left it dangling in here. Once I got this on there, it didn't really show where the connection was, which is right where my fingers, the light is not showing it very well. There, right there. So, guys and gals, don't forget that.